Hello and welcome to Talk Art. I'm Nance Wheeler and I'll be your host as we delve into the world of art and the artist. Talk Art is sponsored by Silicon Valley Open Studios. Each year in May, hundreds of local artists open their studios to the public. For more information, go to svos.org. Today our guest is Sally Rain. Sally is an abstract painter and a video artist, and she's developed an exciting new art form that she calls the Dynamic Symbolism Project. Welcome, Sally.
Well, thank you, Nance. It's good to be here.
So I'm wondering, do you consider yourself at this stage in your career more of a painter or more of a video artist?
Well, it's really both. Lately, I've been doing a lot more video. I have a lot of paintings already done, and I use the paintings in my video. So it's an integral part. It starts with the canvas and the images on the canvases, and then I create video using that. So it's really both. I'd say in my artist time, it's about half and half.
Great. And how did you get involved in this mix of painting and video and software?
Well, I'm inspired by the beauty of the world. And I really enjoy the visual aspects of looking at things and noticing details. And I'm really interested in creating something new. I think as an artist, it's really important to be original, to have ideas, to push the boundaries of what you've seen before, and to really come up with something unique and original. And I also think that artists should really be in tune with the times that they're part of and reflect that. So what I do using painting and acrylics, and I use the metallic paints, which are very modern, they're a new invention, and I use video because I think my paintings tend towards movement. There's a lot of movement in the way the lines connect and the shapes and the colors move together. So video seemed to be the next step to make them move, actually move.
That makes sense.
I also, when I look at one of my paintings, I see lots of different images in them. And it kind of occurred to me once that it's sort of like all the frames of a film put together, and the idea that there's more than one way to look at it and more than one thing going on at the same time in the painting, but it's only one frame in the painting, whereas in a video you can expand that. Right. And then now with touchscreen technology, there's a way for me to interact with people and hear what they have to say and what they see and record it. And the project that I'm working on, the Dynamic Symbolism Project, uses the iPad and other touchscreens to work on the internet so people all over the world can interact with my paintings.
That's great.
Thank you.
So tell me, what exactly is dynamic symbolism?
Well, dynamic symbolism is the style of art that I do. So what you see around you is dynamic symbolism. And I came up with the term dynamic symbolism because people see different symbols in my paintings. Someone will see a flower, someone else will see a bird or a butterfly. Lots of different images. And I've been to many different art fairs, and people always come up to me and say, I see this there, I see that there, and oftentimes it's images that I hadn't seen before. So dynamic means it changes, and it changes over time, and symbolism are the symbols that people see in them.
Great. Well, let's take a look at some of your art that you brought in.
Yeah, we have a lot of images.
A lot of images to show.
So this is one of my earlier pieces. This is called Dark Horse, and it's a charcoal drawing. And I see all kinds of images, and this is where I really started to explore the idea of different people seeing different images in the paintings. And I started a lot with black and white, although I also did color as well. So the next one is another charcoal drawing.
This piece is called Hawk Dancer, and it really represents the Pacific coast of North America. There are hawks, there are bridges and water, eggs, fish, and what looks like a totem pole on the left-hand side.
This one is really interesting because you can turn it different ways and see different images. So in this direction, it looks to me like it's a hawk or a falcon, and it's landing in flight, like it's catching a bird there in the corner. But if you twist it 90 degrees, you can see a wolf. So the nose right now is pointing down.
Oh yeah, I can see both of those. That's
you can see that here. And then if you turn it a different way, there are other images. So I talk about that in my blog. I write about my paintings in my blog. Now this one is Ocean Aria, and this one I started with the intent of doing a painting that was about water. I love water. I like walking in the rain. It's my name. I enjoy going hiking along streams and the beaches around here. So in the winter especially, we live in a very water-full area. So this one has a lot of water images, a lot of fish. This one is called Upstream, another one. This is a black and white and silver painting that's acrylic. And if you look at the sort of horizontal line that goes across the lower third there, under that there are images of water beings, like on the right above the upstream title, there's a fish, it's a salmon. On the other side of the painting, poking in is a heron beak. And up above the water line, I see a bear, especially, and the bear is fishing, and I see the claw underneath there. And none of these images did I intend when I first painted this. I paint basically shapes next to each other, and I don't intend. This one is a new idea. You notice the frame. This is a frame that I designed with a friend of mine, and it has mirrors around the outside. And almost all of my paintings are gallery wrapped paintings, and they're painted on the edges. The painting continues around the sides.
Right, yeah.
So what the mirror does, and you can't really see it in the photograph, but as you walk by the painting in the mirror actually moves because of the mirror effect.
Oh, right, of course, because
and your point of view.
You're in different directions, yeah.
And this painting is fertility, and this is the painting that's the subject of the first part of the Dynamic Symbolism Project app that we're going to talk about. So those are the paintings.
That's great. I love those images in there. There's so many of them.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point of it.
So tell us about this application that you made.
Well, it's an interactive art project inviting people to tell me what they see. In an art fair, people walk by, or at a show, people walk by and they tell me and I hear it, but there's no way to record it. And so this iPad app is a way to record it. And I created an introductory video that we can take a look at now.
Okay, let's look at that.
Hello, I'm Sally Rain, painter, video artist, and I would like to introduce you to the Dynamic Symbolism Project. I want to push the boundaries of traditions that say, don't touch the art. Let educated art historians tell you what to see. I'd like to let you know how you can participate in this groundbreaking art installation using cutting-edge touchscreen technology. People look at my dynamic symbolism paintings and see different symbols, some of which are new even to me. We will create apps on a programming platform that will transfer from tablets like the iPad to large multi-touch screen wall installations. I see a fawn hidden in the bottom left corner of fertility. Touch the screen to highlight the shapes in the image. When you are done, it will be stored and accessible when you want to see what others see. Still don't see the fawn? Touch it again and you can see the artist's vision. Each painting will be associated with its own animations and music. Together, we can explore the ideas I have developed in years of talking to people at art fairs. people from different cultures see symbols they are familiar with. The Dynamic Symbolism project is in part a psychological investigation into how people connect lines and see images according to what they have experienced. There are no wrong answers. Everyone's point of view is valid.
Well, that's great. I feel like now I understand a little bit more about it. Why don't you demonstrate it for us?
Okay, well, here's the iPad, and this is fertility that's on the screen. And each shape is its own touch panel. So you can touch it and it will highlight a shape. So I'm going to highlight a little group of images that I see here. So you touch it and it highlights one, and then you can keep touching them like this. And so there I see a little person, and you can also make it bigger so you can touch the pieces more easily. So there's looks like a couple hugging, and then either that or they're dancing. And here's some more dancers up here. I see a lot of dance in my paintings. And if you touch it once and that wasn't the piece that you wanted to show, or you can there, so that's that, and you can make it smaller. And then when you're done, there it is. Touch finish. And it highlights what you just did. And it gives you an opportunity to type in something that you see. So what I'm going to do is type in dancers. And then in this part, this is the part that I'm most interested in. People can comment on what they see. So
that'll be the interesting to get people's feedback.
Yeah, I love to dance. Okay, and then you submit it, and it gets stored in the database. And so it's accessible on my website through a database program. And each little piece actually is a string of numbers. So once you've shown this, you can see what other people have seen. So here, so there's some sea turtles in the corner and a baby sea turtle. And then the next one looks like faces in profile. So here you can see a face, and there you can see a profile face. And it says here, they remind me of fanciful children's book illustrations. So these are examples of what other people have seen. A parrot flapping its wings.
Oh.
A pear tree. A dog head howling, maybe a Great Dane. So you can see there's a lot of different images that people have seen. This is a mermaid with blue-green hair. All in from the same painting. And when I was painting this, I didn't see this at all. So this is the last one I want to show you. It's a tulip that somebody touched out down in the corner.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different images that people have seen, and this is a way to record it. So I can see people from all over the world can interact with it. So the next step on this project is going to be that last place where we saw what other people have seen, that you can then touch on those images, and I will have created animations or video that goes with that animation. So,
that'd be great.
Yeah, so I start with the painting. Someone interacts with it and creates an image that they see on the iPad. Then I take that image and use their idea in more video art. So it's a real interactive thing. And if someone has the painting in their house, it's much more of, it's using the internet. It's using the technology that we have just recently today to really enhance the experience of the art. So that's my goal.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it would be great to have like a touch screen that's as big as one of these paintings that people can, in a large hall, play around with.
Oh, yeah.
Group interactions. I have lots of ideas.
I'm sure in the near future we'll have whole walls of touchscreens where we can just walk up and
Right.
and play with your picture.
Yeah, well, you've seen TV shows, CSI does all kinds of funny things. Something like that. Yeah, I've got to keep up with technology.
That'd be great. So you've brought some more pictures, and let's look at some more of your
this is my
art.
tree series.
Oh,
and
great.
I live up in nature, and nature really influences my art. And this is called Autumn Oak, and I've created a whole video animation about it. It's about a tan oak, and it's a very large ancient oak tree.
Old growth shows the reflections of light off beautiful old growth redwoods at the top of the mountain.
This one is only part of a very large madrone tree. I love the colors of the madrone tree. When I'm walking around in the forest, that's my favorite.
Oh, so these are very large. These are the ones we have here in the studio.
Yeah, so the next one this is how I created it. So this is a series of photos. This is what I started with, the structure, and then I started adding colors. And I knew this was going to be a madrone tree. So I focused on, I went walking, I took photographs, I got colors, and you can see when we're done that I connect things together. And there's the last one. And the last step is really the hardest part. When people are painting realistically, they know where they're going. When I'm painting, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm going to be painting, what's going to be there, and how it's going to work out. So this one, especially the bottom corner where it looks like there are flowers and irises, that was very difficult to finish. So.
Yeah, it's hard to know when to say, I'm done.
Right. Is there going to be any white in this painting?
Yeah.
And as you can tell, oftentimes no.
Oh, dear.
So
you've got another short video that you brought for us, and let's take a look at that.
yeah, it's an animation about my paintings. So this is an example of what could happen in the iPad app, second edition.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, that was absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
I love that interaction of nature and your painting and that. And I know you live in a beautiful park. So I'm wondering, how does that influence your work?
Well, I live up on the top of Skyline in the Santa Cruz Mountains in Woodside, and I live among trees. And so when I look out my windows, I see green, I see trees, I see the interaction of the light with the trees, and I go hiking a lot. And all of the nature scenes there were from the watershed that I live in. So a lot of them is like right outside my door down the hill a little ways. And as I walk through nature, I really like to look at things abstractly. I look at a scene and I will see how lines connect and how shapes interact and how the light will change something. So when you look at my paintings, there are lots of little shapes, but when you look at the shadows on the ground or leaves on the ground, those shapes are random. I mean, our minds say, this is what a tree looks like, and we know what a tree looks like, but when you look at part of a tree, it doesn't look like the whole tree, and when the light is shining on it, the same tree in the same area can look different every single day. And so that's what really fascinates me, and I try to create that feeling, especially in my tree series paintings, like the ones that are behind me and in between us. So those really reflect what I do. And then I walk around with my video camera. I have a really nice little HD camera that has an image stabilizer, and I walk around and hike with it, and when I see something I like, or I'll go out and specifically get like the madrone trees for the first image, or the creek scenes when the rain, you know, it wasn't raining, so I have to pick a day after the rain, but it's just beautiful where I live. So
yeah, and I can really see in your work that when you look at the tree series, how the reflections of the light and the dark and coming through the leaves really highlights the trunks. And I totally can see that in your work.
Thank you. Well, and I like especially the copper colors. There are two different coppery colors you can get.
Yeah.
And that is a color that's everywhere. When the sun shines on bark, that's what I see. And then greens and
that's fantastic. Yeah.
That's my goal. And then nature really influences me. And it's interesting because talking to realist artists, and when I was an art teacher, you teach people to look at how lines connect to be able to draw something realistically. Because if you just draw your idea of a tree, it doesn't look like a tree. You have to draw each line and each branch and how it works together, and the leaves have to be pointing in the right direction. So my art is obviously abstract, but it uses a very similar technique. How do the lines and curves connect?
Right.
And so anyway, it's interesting to see the parallels.
That's fantastic. And you know, since you normally host this show, you also talk to many different artists. And I'm wondering, does that also influence your work?
Well, it really helps me give meaning to what we're doing here. I mean, everyone that we've interviewed on this show has been very dedicated artists, and from idea, blank canvas, to actually manifesting a finished piece is a serious amount of work, and it takes a lot of time and dedication. You have to spend the time in your studio. You know, you're an artist too.
Yes.
So to, you know, talk to various artists and see how much meaning and how much beauty people want to bring into their lives and the lives of others, to share it with people, it's really inspiring to hear what people have to say, and I love watching the demos that what people do. So
that's great. You know, I know that you also participate in Open Studios, and I'm wondering if you could briefly go over some of the benefits that you feel that organization brings to you.
Well, a lot of the benefits, I think, are meeting other artists. There are group shows at SVOS that we can go to, and meeting you. I met you at a group art show. And part of Open Studios is you have to be there, and you know, if you're in your own studio, people want to see your painting. And so this is an example of a painting that I did at Open Studios, where I just had a little board and I had paint, And you can't take, if I go to somebody else's house for a group show, you can't see, but I spend my time at Open Studios actually painting these little boards, and that was where I got the idea for these. I also, when I have leftover paint from the bigger paintings, I paint on these little boards. So showing people how I do my art actually created another form of art for me, these little panels, and I put them together in triptychs, and I have a whole series of little panels that I do that match the bigger paintings. So
yeah, that's great. I remember watching you do those.
Do that, yeah. And it passes the time too,
right,
in between people. But a lot of times, and kids love to come over and they hang over and watch me paint these little things. So, and it's something that, you know, it's not a big investment. Or time, energy.
Well, thank you for being our guest here on Talk Art.
Thank you for
and
having
thank you
me.
for watching.